Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. This is Mama Ming. In my channel, I do a variety of motherhood, parenting, pregnancy related videos. It's an honor to be part of your journey. If this is the first time in my channel, make sure you subscribe. And in today's video, I want to talk about a little bit of a heavy topic, how I dealt with my miscarriage in the past. So when I had my first pregnancy, I miscarried my baby at 7 weeks and 1 day, and honestly it was very hard. And during that time, I watched a lot of people's videos about how they experienced miscarriage, how they dealt with miscarriage. Personally, it helped me so much, so I want to share my experience with you. So hopefully my video can help someone out as well. I had 2 pregnancies in the past. The first pregnancy, the first time ever I was pregnant, it ended up in a miscarriage. I miscarried a baby at 7 weeks and 1 day. And okay, so the first signs of miscarriage was that I remember it was actually at 7 weeks, like it was a Sunday, and for some reason I went to the bathroom and I realized I had some spotting. It was just like very light spotting. And when I saw that, like my heart just dropped. So the thing is, like, a lot of people talk about like implantation spotting, right? A lot of people had implantation spotting is when the baby implants to their uterus. For some reason, they have a little bit light bleeding or spotting. It happens to like maybe 30% of the women or even more. A lot of people talk about that, but usually implantation spotting happened around 4 weeks before you had a positive pregnancy test, or around when you have a first pregnancy test. So personally, and a lot of people thought it was a period, right? It was like, oh, my period is so late this week, and then positive pregnancy test. So personally, I already had a positive pregnancy test like 10 days ago, and it was like exactly 7 weeks, and I had some very light spotting on that Sunday. And then I was telling my husband, I was debating if I should tell anyone. I just felt like the moment I tell someone, it just becomes true that it's something bad is happening. But then I just felt like I just couldn't deal with it by myself because I was just so nervous. So I just told my husband, I was like, I think something bad is happening. And then he's like, what happened? And then I was like, I had a little bit spotting on my underwear. And he was like, oh, well, positive thoughts, it may be normal. And I've had so many pregnant women telling me they have a light bleeding in the first trimester, or super light bleeding, super light spotting. And I looked it up. It says it's only when it's heavy bleeding and cramping that's very dangerous, because like light spotting, it could be very normal because of hormonal changes, the estrogen, your uterus is like being irritated from the implantation. A lot of things could be happening. So that Sunday I was like, okay, maybe it's nothing, right? Positive thoughts. And then the next morning, it was a Monday, I woke up going to the bathroom and I was bleeding like a period. And it was like calling my husband. I was like, come in, like this is bad, like it's not spotting anymore, I'm having a period, like, and there's like a little bit blood clots in there too, but it's kind of like period, it's kind of, but not too thin. And I was like, this is something bad happening, we need to go to the hospital. The Memorial Day, my OBGYN office is actually closed. So I called my OBGYN's office. There's an on-call doctor. She's like, just monitor it. Like if you started cramping, if there's pain, go to the emergency room. So she was just telling me like, watch for the symptoms. If I'm feeling like crampy, go to the emergency room. If not, like I just like stay put, don't exercise that for that day. And then I was like, well, let me wait for, I was supposed to go to the dentist and I had to cancel the appointments and everything. I just cried and cried and cried. So we ended up going to the emergency room because I had a little bit of cramping. Because she was like, if you're having pain, go to the emergency room, or if you're just like lightly bleeding, not like going like cramping, maybe it's nothing. And we did an ultrasound at 7 weeks and 1 day, and I saw a heartbeat. And I was asking for the ultrasound tech. I was like, so the baby is alive, right? And then she used her wording very carefully, very cautiously. She was like, as of now, yes. So I saw the heartbeat on ultrasound, And I was like, okay, the baby is alive. It's just a scare. So, and then after the ultrasound, I saw the doctor. And of course, the doctor is not like, it's an emergency room doctor. The doctor is not an OBGYN, right? So he was like, giving me like a handout saying like do some bed rest for that day, and he was like, half of the women who have bleeding during the first trimester went ahead have a successful pregnancy, and the other half went ahead to have a miscarriage. At this time, we don't know if you're gonna be the first half or second half. Just go home, rest, don't do anything physically active, and you know, we will see, like, you know, call your OBGYN, set up a normal appointment with your OBGYN. So after that, like, I went to have lunch with family, and my husband was like, it's just a scare, right? Nothing happened. Let's go shopping. Let's go shop for the furniture. Let's do this. Let's do that. Like, he was like, oh, it's nothing. It's just a scare. It's like a scared miscarriage, right? There is a term for that. It's a threatened miscarriage, but you didn't miscarry because there's a heartbeat, right? But in my mind, I was just crying at lunch. I was crying when I got home because I knew something bad was happening, because I was cramping so much. I've never had so much cramps in my life. And I felt like this cannot be good. Like, it's different from just bleeding. And then the cramping kind of slowed down a little bit, and cramping kind of amped up a little bit. And I was just crying and crying, and I started watching YouTube videos to see like signs of miscarriage and stuff like that. And I knew this cannot be good. The thing is, like, dads don't know, like men don't know. As a mom, as a pregnancy woman, the moment we're pregnant, we are connected to our body already. We're connected to our baby already. Whether like what the doctor says, what the ultrasound says, what the husband says, like deeply in my mind, I knew what's happening. I knew this baby is going away. The next day, on Tuesday, and I woke up having like blood clots. I was bleeding heavily, like way heavier than period. And there's like blood clots coming out too. And I was like, we need to call my OB. And then I called my OBGYN doctor, and they're like, we need to have an emergency appointment for you. And I went to my OBGYN's office. My OB did ultrasound herself instead of like a tech. And she's like, I'm sorry, the baby no longer has a heartbeat. And I just cried in the OB's office. I was like, I just cried and cried and cried. And I was like, so sad that like this was happening. Like, even though I knew this was, I was telling Brian, I was like, I knew. It drives me crazy. Like, it drives me crazy when he told me that, like, just have positive thoughts. Like, my husband was like, just have positive thoughts, just have positive thoughts. Like, I knew a lot of like couples, like their marriage goes into crisis after a pregnancy loss or loss of like a child. But I think in my mind, it drives me crazy when my husband, the day before, he was like, just have positive thoughts. It's probably nothing. It's just, but deep down, I just want someone to be real with me. I want someone to tell me that you need to be prepared. Something bad is happening. You need to be prepared. But he was like, I just have positive thoughts. He was trying to be positive the whole time. I hated that so much. In my mind, I just want someone to tell me, you need to be prepared. I need someone to tell me as it is, to make it so real, to prepare myself. But my OB was like, I'm so sorry. That's how we met, because we're supposed to have like an ultrasound to have my first checkup at 8 weeks and a week after. So I was just like so sad. And then, but I had a really good doctor. She has really good bedside manner. She was like, so here's the thing. This is not your fault. I'm not saying it to make you feel better. Let's look at this ultrasound. The yolk inside of this embryo, like, it's very enlarged. This is usually an indicator of trisomy. You can go home to do research. This is one of the indicators. About, like, most of the people have this like enlarged egg yolk. It's because, like, you know, the genetic, like, the DNA didn't work. So even if the baby is born, he's probably gonna have trisomy. Even if you didn't miscarry the baby may not even survive, or you may actually have like a stillbirth too. So it's your body recognizing that this is not a viable pregnancy and like injecting the miscarry the baby naturally. So after I saw that, it makes me feel so much better to know that it's not my fault. I didn't do anything wrong to cause the miscarriage. Things happen, like when two cells happen, maybe it's the sperm not the high quality, maybe it's the egg not the highest quality, maybe when the cells are reproducing itself, it has some sort of genetic error. Like random things could happen in life and it's just not working out. So when she explained to me that, it was very, very helpful. And she also said that the fact that you were pregnant is good because you know you're fertile. And she said you can try again the moment you're emotionally ready. She said in the past, doctors used to tell moms like who had a miscarriage to wait for 3 to 6 months. Actually, research shows that when they tracked women who had miscarriage, it's actually more likely, you're more likely to conceive successfully and have a viable birth, a successful birth, if you conceive, if you try within the 3 months of miscarriage. So let's say you miscarried the baby this month, and if you try the following month or the following month or the 3 month after, it's more likely that you conceive, you're more fertile, and it's more likely that you'll have a viable birth. We don't know why, maybe it's the hormones or whatever. So she's like, you can try again the moment you're emotionally ready. Guys, my baby just woke up. So obviously, we tried again. We tried again right away. So this is my experience trying to conceive. You're so happy. This is my experience trying to conceive after the miscarriage, and this is how I dealt with it. The first thing was like, after I know that, like, there are 3 ways to do it. Like she said, since my body already actively ejecting, I can just wait for my body to naturally miscarry it, or I could use a medicine, like it's like pills that you insert inside of your vagina, and it will soften your cervix and it will increase like some contractions of your uterus and, you know, eject the fetus. Or you do like a DNC. I would choose the medicine because I don't want this to linger. The start, right? I haven't ejected the actual fetus yet, so I don't want this to linger. I want to let it go. So I want to use the pills, right? The medicine. And then I was like, what would you do? And she was like, if I were you, I would do the medicine too, but it's your choice. She said she will avoid a procedure as much as she could. And also she said, like, since I had a miscarriage of super early at 7 weeks, like I don't have to do it. Like the procedure is not always necessary. I just did like the pills. It's very important for me personally to emotionally let it go, to know that like, yes, the first baby was still my baby. Even though he or she passed away, I didn't know the gender. Obviously, all loved our first baby and it was short-lived, but I'm ready to try again. So I let it go. I saged myself, I saged the house, and meditate and all that. And I just knew I need to let it go. Like I can't keep like attaching myself to the first pregnancy. In order for something new to happen, I need to let go of the past. I need to let go of the first fetus to invite a new one to come back, to come in, right? You know, so you have to empty the house first before you move in someone else, right? So I just tried really hard to let it go. It's not easy. Every day I felt like, am I gonna experience it again? Because in my mind I was like, every day I was like, am I gonna get pregnant really soon? Will I have a miscarriage again? But the thing is, I also know that you cannot let your fear to dominate your life, because if you let your fear to dominate your life, you're always gonna live in fear. You're always gonna manifest like bad things, like things that are not always positive in life. So I was like, I am ready to try again because I'm ready to have something beautiful, right? So I tried again. I think he pooped again. I think you pooped. So I tried again right away. So this is my lesson from learning from my experience. So my doctor said that once you're emotionally ready, you can try again. You can get pregnant before you had a period. You can get pregnant right away before you even have a period. So you're extra fertile, and if you're emotionally ready, you can try again. And so I used the medicine, right? Crazy cramp. Doctor prescribed me like some really hardcore painkiller. So it didn't hurt at all. It just feels like a really, really bad period cramps. It was not the same as like delivering the baby, right? Because obviously delivering the baby is big, not bad at all. When that happened, like, so I used the pills the next day and I was waiting for it to happen and it didn't. And then on Thursday, I was waiting for it to happen. It didn't. On Friday, I was like, okay, I'm feeling too sad staying at home, right? And I felt cramps. As I was feeling cramps, I was walking around the house. So I actually went out to have lunch with my friend. And then we went for a walk. And when I got home, I saw the little... So I wasn't even like at home doing bed rest when I actually eject the little embryo. It's like a little egg thing. And it actually wasn't that painful. It was painful, but not like super painful. It's if you're planning to have a baby, that's like nothing. So it wasn't that painful. I immediately try again, but the problem is I kept testing positive on my pregnancy test. Yeah, so I didn't know if it was my pregnancy from the past or a new pregnancy come into my life. It literally drove me crazy. So I was talking to my friend who also works at like an OBGYN office, and she's like, why would you do that to yourself? Just wait for a month and then you will know for sure. Like if you had a period, right, then just wait for a month if you had a normal period, because the actual bleeding after miscarriage is not a real period. After you have a real period, then try again, like so that you know you're not pregnant. I was like, if I would do it again, I will test myself maybe once a week until I have a negative pregnancy test. Once I have a negative pregnancy test, if I try again and get a positive pregnancy test, then I know it's not part of the miscarriage, it's just my new baby coming, right? So the first month I tried without a period, I was driving myself bananas because I keep testing positive. I don't know if I'm pregnant again, right? And the second time I tried, the second month I tried, I wasn't pregnant. And I was so sad. I was so sad. I was like, maybe it will never happen to me again. The third month I tried again. I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I knew I was gonna quit my job. So I have part-time jobs too. I still work part-time right now, but like in the past, I had this workplace, they were painting walls for like 4 months. They were doing oil-based painting for inside and outside. And personally, I felt like that has something to do with my first pregnancy because I was inhaling a lot of the fumes and it was constant, like 10 hours of a day. And every time I'm inhaling that, and there were times when I couldn't breathe. I had like headache, I had dizziness. It was so bad. And I had to go outside to take a break. And my boss called me to trouble to say like, no, you cannot be working outside table because you have to be right here, sit there. And I was like, okay. So eventually after like trying it, after 2 periods, I was like, I'm gonna quit my job. So regardless, I'm not going back because it's just, I feel like it has something to do with my miscarriage. I'm not sure, right? It cannot be, but I just know I cannot have that type of like stress and toxic environment in my life if I want to be healthy, try again for a healthy baby. And truth behold, after the 3rd period and in the month, quit my job August 10th, and then my period came August 15th. I found out I was pregnant in September, and here is the result of my pregnancy. So I just want you guys to see him, to know that even after losses, there is still hope. I know that feeling that after the loss, I don't know if the loss was gonna happen again. I don't know if I was gonna have reoccurring miscarriage. I don't know if I'm gonna get pregnant again. It was so uncertain back then, but here we go. Here's my healthy baby. This is my 2nd pregnancy. And also, I felt like after my miscarriage, I shared my stories on my YouTube. A lot of people, I didn't know they have a miscarriage before. They reached out and texted me. They're like, I saw your video. I just want to let you know that I had 2 miscarriages before my 2 babies. So there were some friends who actually had multiple miscarriages and had multiple babies afterwards. So if you're experiencing loss, I just want you to know that you're not alone. It's not your fault. There's no easy way to deal with it. Everyone deal with it differently. But just letting you know that there is a hope and something good is happening to you very, very soon. After the miscarriage and the 3rd period cycle, and my mom doesn't even know I had a miscarriage because I knew she was gonna blame me for having a miscarriage. She's gonna say it's because you did ABCD. So I didn't even tell her, but she doesn't even remember the timeline. But I'm so happy that I have my Raiden baby, and this is my rainbow baby. I'm so happy. So yeah, that's it for today's video. That's it, my story. Thank you so much for watching. If you are trying to conceive again, best luck to you, sending you all the baby dust. I hope you guys have your rainbow baby soon. All right, thumbs up and subscribe. Check out my other videos in this channel, and I will see you in my next one. Bye bye. He's 7 months old now. Bye bye. Bye bye. I'm so happy. Bye bye. Bye bye.